Buddy, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
All
Coming
right.
in loud and clear.
Yeah. Can you see we got wine?
Yep, we
I'm,
got
I'm a little
wine.
I'm a little scruffier than normal.
Oh, I just did a clean shave yesterday. I was yeah, just a man from the woods.
Well, I mean, with all this sort of like quarantine hair, I just like I might as well just go for it. I just
Yeah.
I
Have
was
you been
about
in
to shave and
have you been in Virginia for weeks?
I have been here for quite a while. I've been here for probably like 2 months almost or
Oh, wow.
something.
So you kind of that's where you kind of stayed put, huh?
That's where I ended up. So I came out here planning on being here for like a week, and then I came out right in the thick of when things started to get a
Real.
little crazy, and
Yeah.
then it just seemed like the best thing was just stay put.
Yeah, I
So
gotcha.
so I've been here for yeah, almost 2 months or something.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. So we got a new baby about 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
This one right here.
I am missing mine, but I'll see mine in about a week. But
Yeah, I was wondering if Foxy was with you or if she was on the West Coast.
Foxy is not, but Foxy's coming out. Foxy's coming out in a week and a half. So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Well, this is Zalto,
Oh,
and she's a little boxer lab mix.
so cute.
All right, so I'm gonna put her down, let her go play. So yeah, so all right, Instagram Live. This has been great. It's been fun. It's kind of like the first time I ever did this was with one of our winemakers, and pretty much every winemaker I've done it with, it's like their first they've done Instagram Live, which I think is really cool. So new world.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of Zoom calls, Zoom conferences. We've been doing for Guildsom. We've been doing a lot of education and things on Zoom. And I did a Facebook Live the other day, but this is my first Instagram Live. Normally, I don't really feel like I'm interesting enough to go live. So this is my first
Hey,
time.
like I say, until a month and a half ago, I didn't even know what would happen if I hit that button. I was petrified to do so. Oh, so yeah, so I just kind of always like to kind of slow it down, and people always, the first 5 minutes, people are kind of jumping on and getting going, and but yeah, I just kind of like to start with, obviously, Instagram Live here with Jeff Kruth, going to be talking about lost and found wines. We're going to talk about the Nines Vineyard Chardonnay and the Nines Vineyard Syrah. But Jeff, just kind of give us a little bit of a rundown and an overview of the Lost and Found Wine Project and kind of
Yep.
your vision and what you're doing with it.
So started Lost and Found with the 2010 vintage, and I made Pinot Noir in 2010 from a vineyard in Green Valley and Russian River, just a small amount of wine, and then it's grown over the years. And in 2019, I probably made like 8 different wines. So it's kind of grown to working with a bunch of different vineyards and different grape varieties over the years. Working with some traditional grapes, obviously like Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And Syrah, but I've been making Albarino, though I've been making Old Vine Semillon, I've made some Merlot, made some Pinot
Nice.
Gris. Yeah, it's been really a great fun project. Megan Glab has been working with Megan, and Megan worked for me as a sommelier a number of times, starting when she was really young, and then she started her brand Rhyme. And so make the wines in a shared facility in Geyserville, which I know you've been to.
Oh yeah.
And, so Rhyme is there, and we're there also. Leo Steen makes some really good Chenin Blanc, and Idlewild, which makes a lot of Italian varieties. And so we make the wines there in Geyserville, just north of Healdsburg. I make less than 2,000 cases of wine, so it's pretty small production. And yeah, so this was so do you have the 2017 Chardonnay in front of you?
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
Both are 2017 Nines Vineyard. Yep.
Yeah. So these were both the first vintage of. I've since made a couple more vintages subsequently in barrel and yet to be released, but these were the first vintages of this vineyard. And a really cool vineyard. And I've worked with 2 vineyards in Sonoma Mountain. This vineyard, and then about a half mile away, the Vanderkamp Vineyard.
Yeah, that's when we walked together. That's just a beautiful property.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really, really cool. And so Sonoma Mountain is just east of northeast Petaluma, east of Petaluma, just to the east of, say, like Cotati and Pengrove. And it's most of Sonoma Mountain kind of, it faces east and is a little warmer, kind of towards the town of Sonoma, facing towards Napa. But this is on the western facing side, this vineyard. So a small part of it faces west, and it's right at the dead end of the Petaluma Gap. So it's a much cooler part of Sonoma Mountain because it's west facing and it's the dead end of the Petaluma Gap. And it's great for cool climate varieties. This is a vineyard that has 5 acres planted, and it's certified sustainable, 3 acres of Pinot, 1 acre of Chardonnay, and 1 acre of Syrah. So this is coming from a real small plot of Chardonnay. It's all Wente clone, which is a real small berried clone of Chardonnay, which one of the things I like about Wente clone is it gives you a real high skinned juice ratio because of the tight little small berries. They're almost like BBs, which gives a lot of intensity. Natural high acid, cool, cool climate. I'm really happy with Chardonnay. I can tell you more about the winemaking, etc. if you want.
Please. Yeah, please do. Absolutely.
So 1 acre, so this is a pretty small amount. And this is native ferment, meaning I don't add yeast for the fermentation. It starts on its own time, and it's done in barrel. So I like barrel fermentation with Chardonnay. But I made 9 barrels of this wine, and only 1 new barrel. So it's 8 used barrels and 1 new barrel. I like a little tiny influence of the new barrel with the 1 new barrel, but I'm not looking for a lot of oak impact in the wine.
Right.
I like that to be a little more subtle. So 1 new barrel, 8 used barrels, fermented in barrel, native ferment, and then it goes through malolactic fermentation. Just kind of let it go through a full malolactic fermentation. One thing that do different than some in California is that after the malolactic is complete, I wait a little while, wait a few weeks to sulfur the wine, because I want the diacetyl is a compound that's created during malolactic fermentation, right? Happens in every red wine, happens in white wines that go through malo. And that diacetyl is it's like that movie popcorn butter flavor.
Right.
And I'm not looking for that in the wine. So if you wait and let the wine sit, the lees will actually metabolize out the diacetyl. So you get the benefit of the malolactic fermentation in that. I like the acid structure that and the texture that comes about through that. But I wait and let that diacetyl kind of largely get metabolized out of the wine naturally by the lees. And so that's why the wine's not as buttery as California Chardonnays. I make California Chardonnay. I don't like to say that is what I'm making, but you can think of it in some ways as being more reminiscent of certain styles of French Chardonnay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And kind of the winemaking approach, and then it's and then bottled, and I let it sit in bottle for a year before releasing it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great wine, and I love it. I love the use of the wood on the wine, and it's got tons of bright green apple and beautiful acidity, and it really shows what California Chardonnay can be, and it's really quite enjoyable.
So one thing I'll say is the label here. This is a drawing. I don't know how well the yellow kind of shows. Maybe if we hold it back a little bit, you can see the yellow more. You can probably see it well in there. Yeah, so that's it might appear backwards, kind of on Instagram Live.
It is. I know that's one thing I hate about Instagram Live is everything's backwards. But
imagine the other way. It is the international symbol. It's a drawing in this case of the international symbol for a lost and found. There's an official version, which is actually on my Pinot Noir, on one of the Pinot Noirs. Which you'll see in every airport, train station, etc. It's a symbol for a lost and found.
I love it.
In the case of Syrah here, it's purple because it's Syrah.
That's right.
So yeah, that's the Chardonnay. I think it's a crisper style Chardonnay. It's one of those. I hear a lot of people. I'll be at a wine dinner and they'll say, I don't really like Chardonnay, but I like your Chardonnay. And so hopefully it's a style that if you like Chardonnay, you like it, but also if it is a little bit more of a kind of crisper, more subtle style of Chardonnay, that it's not going to hit you over the head with the kind of, big oaky buttery kind of style.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree. I mean, kind of originally, some of my favorite styles of Chardonnay are coming from Chablis or Burgundy,
yeah,
um, and obviously, there's use of oak in those wine regions, both of them, and um, these styles of Chardonnay, especially the ones that kind of are in our portfolio, Lost and Found, and some of the other guys we work with, are obviously, you guys are making wine in an older world style. And I love it. Like, this is acid and beautiful, beautiful Chardonnay, and really enjoyable to drink. So yeah, it's a
cool.
good one.
And then the Syrah here is so same vineyard, 1 acre of Syrah in the same vineyard, um, but it's all from an Alban clone, and it's picked later than the other grapes in the Syrah ripens later. So this can often be picked 2 or 3 weeks later than the Chardonnay and the Pinot Noir. Chardonnay could be first, but about the same time as Pinot. But the Syrah is later. And this is a cool site. So I'm looking for kind of a cool climate expression of Syrah. Syrah can be confusing for customers because Syrah can range from kind of this classic Northern Rhone style, pepper and kind of gamey, meaty, and
Right.
kind of tart berry, all the way to what you think of as the classic Australian Shiraz. Now, in Australia, they make some cool climate versions too, but
Oh,
the
for sure.
classic Shiraz, that just like unctuous, rich kind of. So a lot of times people
Jammy.
don't know what they're going to get with Syrah. The style of Syrah I like here in California is a little bit more in the kind of Northern Rhone influence, in that you're going to get that black pepper. You're going to get kind of olive, along with kind of red and even blue fruit, kind of plum and red berry. But I like that pepper and olive to kind of, bring that spice to the wine, which I like in Syrah. So this wine is made entirely whole cluster, which means that I am not separating the berries from the stems. So it's all intact. And then this is actually foot tread. So that kind of, like the old I Love Lucy sort of scene.
Yep.
So this is
Exactly.
foot tread, whole cluster, very traditional made Syrah. And then it goes into to used barrel, so entirely used barrel. I don't use any new oak. I don't personally like new oak on my Syrah. I'm not looking for that kind of oaky flavor in the Syrah. I want that kind of real varietal driven, Syrah
Yeah.
character. But it's got a lot of weight to it. It's not a light wine. It has naturally high acidity, and it's not a cloying rich wine, but it does have some structure and some tannin. And it's 2017, so now the tannins should be kind of starting to evolve.
Yeah.
It's a good meat wine. This is, you can have this with like barbecue meats. You can have it with something like duck or even chicken, roast chicken or something too. But I think it does really well with like lamb and mushrooms. If you're a vegetarian, I think it's a great wine for mushroom dishes.
Yeah.
And so real classic style of Syrah. It's a Syrah that if you're used to drinking kind of Northern Rhone style Syrahs, you will recognize it as Syrah.
Yeah. It's excellent. It's got all those nice, really nice spice notes like you talked about. The pepper. I love the black olive. It's got this briny,
Yeah,
olive tapenade character to it that I really enjoy in all Syrahs, whether they're New World or Old World. But it's bright, it's fresh, it's the wine is very lively. Really enjoyable Syrah for sure.
and a food wine for me. One that I think I like to drink this wine better with. If you're just looking, hey, I'm going to have a glass of wine now. This Chardonnay, I can just sit and drink this Chardonnay before I eat dinner. With dinner, great with some scallops or
Yeah.
with a lot of types of food, whether it was, chicken or fish or, but I could just drink this on my own and sit on the deck and be happy.
Oh, for sure.
The Syrah is probably is a wine that, it'd be great with a burger, with a steak. Like I do think this wine, I really like to open a bottle of this Syrah when I've got food on the table.
Yeah. No, I hear you for sure. Yeah. I think it's a great meat wine, obviously.
Yeah.
Charcuterie, burger.
Yeah.
Yeah, some sort of a meaty pasta would be lovely with it, and
Yeah.
that kind of
Meat or
thing.
mushrooms, either, something along that line works
Yeah,
really well.
for sure. Mm. Yeah, very enjoyable. So what else? Anything else about the winemaking on that one? Did you whole cluster and then
Oh, yeah.
all neutral
100% whole
barrel?
cluster, 100% whole cluster, foot tread, neutral barrels.
Oh,
So with Syrah, I'm a big fan of whole cluster with Syrah. Pinot Noir is very particular. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't, and yeah, you have to be real kind of judicious where and when you use whole cluster with Pinot Noir. For me, Syrah, I use it by default unless there was a reason not to.
okay.
Um, and so yeah, used oak, whole cluster, and picking with this wine is really important. All my wines, I would say, pick date is like, if you say what's one of the most important things to you in winemaking, it's being able to control the pick date, and it's one of the first questions I ask with a vineyard. One of the most important things in working with a vineyard is, can I control that pick date? Because I want to get that fruit exactly where I want it, not
Right.
too ripe, not underripe. And so this is a wine that if you crush the grapes, leave it sit with the stems, let it sit there and then drink the juice. And a day before, it could almost have this like green banana kind of flavor to the juice where it's just like, yeah, it's just not ripe yet, right? And then if you let it go too far, it becomes kind of hyper ripe and jammy and loses the pepper and the olive and whatever. So threading that needle on pick date, and it's different every year in the vintage. You can't just look at a number. Like, we obviously look at the numbers. You can read out the specific gravity of the juice, and there's technical numbers you can read out for that.
Sure, sure.
Obviously, we do that, but that's not that's not what drives the decision. The decision is flavor, and it's different every year. And it's just like when it's just like, yep, that's perfect, and I want to be able to control that and say, okay, pick.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, yeah. And this is beautiful. Cool vineyard site, California Syrah. I mean, I don't even know what the alcohol is on this thing. It's
13.5.
13.5. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
yeah, it seems it's got some weight to the wine, but definitely it's super in balance and just really great, hitting some really nice Syrah characteristics for sure.
Now, I don't know, can people ask questions, or I don't know how this works?
They can, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So yeah,
How do they do that?
if anybody wants to, it's on like about a 10-second delay. But if anybody wants to ask any questions for Jeff, hit him up in the bottom, and he'll answer them about any of these wines or anything else he's got going on.
I got a wave. I can see a wave.
Yeah, lots of waving. There's always lots of waving on Instagram Live.
Okay, what vintage of the Syrah? So this is 2017. And somebody's asking about the red blend. So that's a good question.
Yeah, that's been a good wine for
2017
us
on
here.
the Syrah. The red blend is a great value. It's Cinsault, Mourvèdre, and Carignan. Those are three grapes that, if you were French, I'd tell you they're from southern France. If you're from Spain, I'll tell you they're from northern Spain. Honestly, they're grapes that are grown on both sides of the border. And they're great grapes in a blend in that they all have a particular character that work well together. It's sort of like, there's some voices that are great as a solo, and there's some voices that like work better in harmony. And these are grapes that I think work really well in harmony. The Carignan is red fruited and naturally high in acid. You almost can't ripen the acid out of the Carignan, even in California. The Mourvèdre is dark fruited and it's textural and it's got richness, but doesn't have the acidity that Carignan has. And the Cinsault is really light. It's lighter than the Pinot Noir, but it's floral and peppery. And it sort of lightens up the blend and it brings some aromatics. So I like that wine was very much designed as a blend, is to have kind of all those components creating something that's greater than the sum of its parts. They're all from very old vines. And I think it's a great value.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've done well with that wine in Tennessee, and it's like, I mean, it's just an amazing, I don't know what it is, $25, $26 retail, just pop. And I mean, yeah. Pizza wine, any night wine. It's so food friendly, or even non-food friendly. I actually drank a bottle. I was camping for a couple of days and drank a bottle, I think on Tuesday night, just out camping by myself, and it was awesome. Like I really like that wine. It's super friendly. Yeah.
Yeah, so some new things coming down the pike
Yeah, that'd be great to hear about.
soon. That to expect in the future. That haven't even been bottled yet, but I made Pinot Gris from Petaluma Gap.
Oh, wow.
Organically farmed Pinot Gris from Petaluma Gap, and that hasn't been bottled yet. And that's going to be a similar price point to the red blend.
Oh, nice.
And then I made Old Vine Semillon, 140-year-old Semillon vines off of the Monte Rosso vineyard in Moon Mountain, and that one is really cool.
Oh, wow.
So a little bit of that, and then I made some Merlot from the Massa vineyard. So organically farmed vineyard's been organically farmed for like 30 or 40 years. And I love Merlot, and this is it's not like a flashy, over the top Merlot. It's just a classic Merlot, and that wine is looking really, really good. So those are new in addition to the multiple Pinot Noirs, Syrah, Red Blend, Chardonnay, that I normally make.
And did we miss out? Did you sell out of your Albarino? Is that thing gone?
Oh, Albarino, yeah, Albarino is, and I made more Albarino. So Albarino was new. Albarino was new in 2018, and I'm sorry, in 2018, and then that's sold out. But I have more in 19,
nice,
which will be bottled soon.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, it'll be fun to get some fresh, new, lost and found wines in the Tennessee market. Those sound like some exciting things.
Yeah.
Along with the Syrahs and the Pinots and all that great stuff. So yeah. Any other questions for Jeff? I got one very serious question for you, Jeff.
Okay.
Are you caught up on Schitt's Creek?
Okay, so I watched about half of the last season and then stopped because I want to finish it with my wife. And
okay. Well,
we've been on opposite coasts for the last couple of months.
Okay,
So,
I was curious.
So we've been waiting to watch it together. So I've seen like the first half of the new season.
Well, I greatly, greatly appreciate you introducing me to that show because, honestly, I think Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Schitt's Creek are like in my three like. And we're finished. We finished it. Leah and I finished it. And
I have finished the new season of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh yeah, we did too.
Great season.
Yeah, it's funny. We actually opened a couple Lost and Founds when we finished up the last couple episodes of Schitt's Creek in your honor.
That's great. I sat next to on a plane like 2 years ago. I sat next to on a plane. Oh my God, I'm from Richard Lewis.
Yeah,
from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, right.
Sitting next to me on the plane, he was such a nice guy.
Well, the latest season of Curb was amazing. All about spite.
It's really,
spite stores.
I love Smooth. JB Smooth is that his name?
Oh my God,
he's amazing.
Yeah, they're so good, so good.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely, Jeff. Thank you for joining, and thank you all you guys for joining us every week on these Instagram lives. And yeah, love these Lost and Found wines, man. Thank you so much, and I look forward to some of this new stuff. This new stuff sounds exciting.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right, buddy. Hey, be safe. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
See you, Jeff.